Yes.
Start over, just say welcome.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Voice of Rio Grande. I'm Craig Klein, the Dean of Rio Grande Community College Programming, and I'm joined today with not one but two guests. My first guest is Patrick Dengel, who is a Small Business Development Specialist and the Ohio State University Rio Coordinator of Collaboration.
Yes.
That's quite a title. And I'm also joined by Susan Foltz, who's the Director of the Manufacturing Extension Partnership in the Office of Small Business and Entrepreneurship in Ohio.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Our topic today is the Ohio Manufacturing Extension Partnership, or the MEP. And a little background, the MEP helps Ohio's small and medium-sized manufacturers to increase sales, create jobs, and generate cost savings through technological innovation, workforce training, and improved management practices. So those are some fairly substantive goals. So to help us make sense of all of this and weave through it, we have Patrick Dengel and Susan Foltz with us. And Susan, I understand you work for Small Business and Entrepreneurship, so you are actually managing this effort, or your office is?
At the state level, I was Associate Director for the SBDC program, the Small Business Development Centers, and then they tasked me off to be the State Director for the Ohio Manufacturing Extension Partnership.
Okay.
So it was kind of bittersweet. It was exciting to work with those small businesses, any type of business, but now we can really key in on what manufacturers need in the state and focus on their needs.
You know, it's rather interesting. She has some unique statistics about the manufacturing climate in Ohio. And
yep.
would you
Please
share
those with us?
Sure. There are more than 14,000 manufacturers in the state, and 90% of those are small manufacturers, which are 0 to 50 employees. We do have some significant large manufacturers in the state. We go across several industry segments. So when we look at the verticals, we're into aerospace, we're into food manufacturing, metals. There's everything that you would want to make, Ohio can make it. China, little type toys. We look for ways to new welding projects and how to make welding work better in the future. We get into robotics and things that are really interesting to students nowadays.
Yes, they are. And Rio Grande Community College has a number of programs that have that technical focus, and we're going to get to those in just a few minutes. But that would be, of course, that would be with the assistance of Patrick Dengel.
I think it's extremely important in the fact that just like we have a collaboration, Susan has been working with a number of different programs that collaborate, if I can use that word, many different services to the manufacturing companies that are spread out throughout Ohio. And I know, Susan, you're very much of a proponent of manufacturing as the growth that helps the state of Ohio.
Right.
So I'm looking here at some stats also. 90% of the job growth for high-paying jobs in Ohio are represented in small to medium-sized manufacturing companies. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And one in seven employed positions in Ohio works in such a place?
Correct.
Okay. So that's quite a substantive number of people all engaged in the pursuit of the same general type of thing. And so, of course, there is a training and preparation angle to that. But we can go through the slides a little bit, and which will help our viewers understand the extent of this program. And
One of the slides that I really like, Susan, she has a really good grasp on that, and she created this slide of the map.
Okay.
And it sort of shows all the different supportive programs that are available.
Okay.
So we're looking on the screen and we see a map with a number of different colors on that. Susan, you want to tell a little bit about what this map does and represents?
Sure. It represents the regional partners that we have that actually deliver services to those local manufacturers in the community. So when we start from the northwest area, we have SIFT, the Center for Innovative Food Technology, that's in the Toledo area. We come down to the central area there, and we have FASTLANE. They're a part of the University of Dayton Research Institute. Their focus is on aerospace, additive manufacturing, and 3D printing. Then we go farther south to Cincinnati, and we partner with Techsolve there to provide those Internet of Things and Manufacturing 4.0 activities to help bring our manufacturers into the future. We swing around to the southeast, and we have APEG, the Appalachian region for economic growth. There, they provide a lot in the wood industry and have worked very closely with OSU South Centers to help promote that lumber industry in Ohio. Then we swing on up to Northeast Ohio, and we have Magnet. They tend to be our expert in internships. They have a partnership with America Makes at the Youngstown Business Incubator, where they do a lot of 3D printing there for additive manufacturing. And then in Central Ohio, we have the Ohio State University Center for Design and Manufacturing Excellence, and also PolymerOhio. So two robust individual organizations that can connect to specialized manufacturing opportunities.
Good. Thank you very much. Quick reminder that we are discussing the Ohio Manufacturing Extension Partnership in today's episode of The Voice of Rio Grande. So, Patrick, Susan just told us a number of these facilities that are around the state, and talk about those for a minute. We can go through them individually if you'd like, or we can talk about them in a general sense.
Well, one of the questions I wish to ask Susan is, why do we need those partnerships, and are they just specific to that territory, to that area, or do they work? Tell us a little bit more about those partnerships, why they are, and can they come out of their territory?
They actually provide service all across the state based on their expertise. But they have a focus to drive to the local manufacturers and find out what their needs are. And then as they need expertise from other partners, they'll actually bring them in to help through the process.
Oh, that makes sense. And I know that each one, are these all nonprofits? Do companies have to pay for their services on an initial basis?
Yes, the organizations, our partners in the local community, most of them are nonprofits or universities. And the clients do pay for services. Now, they may get some free services that would come in to do, say, a lean assessment of the business. And then they'd give them a proposal to say, based on the assessment, we can save you a certain amount of dollars in waste, if we go through and implement a lean process within your organization. And then they would charge them for that in-depth time that's spent.
Well, that makes sense, because we're talking with the manufacturing company now that wants a very intensive market plan. And we in the small business development program, we can offer some expertise, but to get into a market plan, and you know, there you're talking big dollars. And and I know that the extension programs throughout Ohio do have that expertise.
Right, right. And that's the jewel of Ohio, when we can connect those businesses to the free services, get them up and going and making a profit, and then be ready to leap into the next frontier with some paid services.
I understand, and that makes sense, because you know, manufacturing companies, been my experience, and you cannot just stay. You have to grow with the
have to be adaptable to the technology, or you'll be left behind.
Okay.
I understand.
So we're going to go to some slides, and we're going to go through the actual individual organizations that you mentioned, Susan. So can we have the first one up, slide 4?
Which would be...
Here they are,
well,
all together. So just to say them all: Techsolve, PolymerOhio Manufacturing, Magnet, which is an acronym, FASTLANE, Center for Innovative Food Technology, Center for Design and Manufacturing Excellence, and the Appalachian Partnership for Economic Growth.
Right.
Okay. So let's go through these one by one, and I'll ask both of you to comment as we go. So the first one, as we can see here, is Techsolve, and they claim to help manufacturers run better, faster, and cheaper. And their expertise is healthcare, aerospace and defense, and local government. So tell me about how healthcare or aerospace and defense can run better, faster, and cheaper. How does that work? What kinds of things are they advising people to do, not to do?
Well, a lot of it is to really take a look at their internal processes. If they can save time, save waste, Lean is the place to send them to. Six Sigma, to get their teams all working closely together. They can look at, for medical, some of the new product design. They can help in that product development to actually make their first model, their first prototype, so that they can begin to put all their plans together to take it to market.
Okay. So this is beyond simply research and development. It actually, I'm guessing we're going to increase efficiency, output, and profitability.
Correct.
All of those things in the process.
And then also to look for ways to give our Ohio manufacturers a competitive edge in the global market.
Very good.
So give them those additional resources.
Okay.
Very, very good. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back with Dr. Klein and Susan Foltz, and we're going to talk more about the manufacturing extension program.
Hi, welcome back to the Voice of Rio Grande. I'm Craig Klein, the Dean of Community College Program for Rio Grande Community College, and I am joined today by Patrick Dengel, Business Development Specialist from OSU, and is a coordinator of collaboration with Rio. And via Skype we have Susan Foltz, who's the Director of the Manufacturing Extension Partnership in the Office of Small Business and Entrepreneurship. That's quite a mouthful to get through all of that. So welcome back, everyone, and thank you both for being here. We were beginning to talk about the various companies that are involved in this, and the notion is to help small to medium manufacturing operations to increase their efficiency, output, ultimately profitability, I'm certain, and that translates into jobs for Ohioans. and we were going through some of the companies, and we had just started with Techsolve. So let's move on to PolymerOhio. Technology acceleration and product development and workforce development are a couple of things that they are concentrating on. So how do these companies, Susan, assist with, for example, workforce development? What are they doing that could lead to an impact in the region where Rio Grande is located?
Okay. What PolymerOhio has is a special program they call TAP, where they bring in restored citizens that need some additional training to fit into the manufacturing environment. So they get them connected to that kind of specialized training. They get them connected to businesses that need employees, and then do counseling and monitoring with them. I think their bigger clients are in the Columbus area right now. But when we look in the Rio Grande area, you know, there's a lot going on with agriculture, and a lot of small places making their own sauce. They want to be able to get that to market. So expertise from SIFT in Toledo would help them put together labeling requirements. They would be able to test their product, and maybe get a group, a focus group together to tell them, is this a product that's really going to be successful in the marketplace? Or are we just looking at another taco sauce that everybody else has? So find those unique attributes.
Well, we have a few more of these to get through, so I'm going to take them in succession and move through them more quickly than the first few. The next one up is the acronym of MAGNET, which is Manufacturing Advocacy and Growth Network. For either of you, quickly, what does MAGNET do?
They're located in the Cleveland area. They house an incubator. They do a lot with test market products, prototypes again. They bring expertise in internships and working across the community colleges in that area and the high schools. So MEP tries to drive the opportunities to high school students to help them prepare for what they want to do following high school.
And I think that's very, very important. Internships really help a student that's in the study process. As a matter of fact, you encourage,
we do,
Dr. Klein, individuals get actively involved in the coursework that they're preparing to get the jobs too.
That's right. We have a number of programs here. As we talk about these, we'll finish these off very quickly. I think
let's talk about.
But we can talk about our programs here.
Yeah.
So why would this matter to most people living in the region where Rio Grande is located, and why should this be important to them? What it is that the state is putting a lot of time and effort into developing small to medium manufacturing operations, and as those develop, the notion is that they would need more people to be working there. And we have some programs here that can help. So I'm going to highlight just a few of them here very quickly. We have Industrial Automation and Maintenance. That's a 2-year degree program. What in the world is that? They focus on the installation, repair, and maintenance of electronic and mechanical equipment used to control manufacturing. So much of anyone who's been in a factory lately or a manufacturing process knows that much of it is automated. Someone has to maintain that equipment. Someone has to be there when it doesn't work as everyone hopes that it would. And we can train you for that. And we have excellent instructors, and we have good placement rates as well. And I'd like to invite people thinking about this to start preparing now, particularly as the Manufacturing Extension Partnership becomes more and more developed in the months ahead. Another program I'd like to draw your attention to is Information Technology and Network Systems. Sounds like computers, doesn't it? And in fact, it just might be. It's microcomputer hardware maintenance. and the design, installation, and maintenance of local area network systems. So it prepares students for those devices that control the machines which manufacture whatever the object or items might be. Both of those are programs that can be taken here at Rio Grande Community College. Both can be completed in 2 years. And if one were to start now in the fall term, classes begin shortly here, there's still time to register. I would invite students to consider both industrial automation and maintenance and information technology network systems, both of which would make a person very employable in a small to medium manufacturing facility. Would you not agree?
Very, very much so. I think, you know, with Susan's statistics, 14,000 manufacturers, and oftentimes when a person says manufacturer, we think of somebody hitting a hammer on a steel thing to make whatever they want to. And that's not necessarily the case. Food production.
That's right.
Whether you're a farmer or whether you're one of those individuals that make the sauces, as what you're talking about. And it's been your experience, Susan, that manufacturing companies come in all different makes and models, and they need quality individuals who's willing to go in and push a button or sweep a broom.
Correct, correct. And you know, we have opportunities to get this kind of information out there to high school students. One of the programs that MEP has is Manufacturing Day, which is the first Friday in October each year. And then we kind of go through the month of October and look for other ways to get them connected. So in some communities, you'll see manufacturers open their doors and the schools will bring juniors and seniors in. We've seen programs that bring in 7th and 8th graders to get them acquainted with what a manufacturing floor looks like. It's not what we had when our parents were working in the manufacturing field, and it's a very clean environment, and a lot of technology savvy students would fit in really well.
And that's a good thing, and we have that technology to properly train people here at Rio Grande Community College. And with initiatives like this coming from the state level and perhaps even beyond, and many of these 14,000 manufacturers that are in this category looking for well-trained personnel that they can hire who can start with the proverbial hit the ground running attitude and skill set. This is a good time to consider information tech network systems or to consider industrial automation and maintenance. Both are valuable skill sets. Both are relatively short-term degrees here, 2 years at the college, and the employment prospect and outlook is simply excellent, isn't it?
I very much think so. The nice thing about Susan, she's had a few years of really acquiring a whole network of organizations. You know, the Department of Developmental Services, the agency that is responsible for new growth and technology, has a variety of different programs. For instance, would you like to share some of the programs that we work with? We sort of take for granted, but are also available to schools and to students.
Sure. Through development, we have over 80 programs. So there's something that's going to fit the need, whether it be a tax credit program, whether it be there's another internship program that's going on. They have the export internship program. So there's ways that we can help connect students to the places they need to be and get them ready for college so they know they're not spinning their wheels while they're there. I'm not sure what I want to do.
And so how much longer will the extension partnership exist, Susan?
For Ohio, it's a significant program, and the state puts in quite a bit of money. We do get part of our funding from the U.S. Department of Commerce under NIST. And with the federal budget in flux right now, we have been from 0 to 130 million. So we're kind of waiting to see how that lands.
Okay.
But even if those federal dollars go away, manufacturing is so important to Ohio that there's already funds to keep the program going.
Excellent. And I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there.
Okay.
And we've reached that time. So I would like to thank you, Susan Foltz, for your time and joining us today.
Thank you.
And giving and lending us your expertise. And Patrick Dengel from OSU.
Oh, well, I
both.
very much appreciate being on your show.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
This is the Voice of Rio Grande. I'm Craig Klein. Thank you for watching.